Yo, people, welcome back to the channel. And yeah, it's championship preview. And it's game week 32, 30, I think 31, game week 31. So yeah, the business end of the championship is 32 is looking good, but I'm not alone for one time and one time only. Once again, I'm joined by Tyler, the GOAT.
Hello,
So yeah,
hello.
how are you?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. What about yourself?
I'm good. I've done great on the weekend with my championship predictions. Don't know where
Nice.
I put that out, but um, pretty great. But yeah, we'll get into all of that. But yeah, it's been a roller coaster of a season for Luton. And we'll get into all of that. But have you enjoyed this season of the championship? Been a lot tighter than a few seasons ago.
Yeah, no, 100%, mate. It's still crazy to think now. Teams like Bristol City, for example, they can still potentially have a late playoff push. I was having a little look at the points earlier. And there's so many teams in it. It's actually, and even someone near the bottom, they could like not necessarily like as in like the bottom five, say for example, but like maybe someone like a Birmingham, all of a sudden, if they get a few results going, they're shooting up the table. Do you know what I mean? Like it's crazy how tight it
Yeah,
is this season. But yeah, it's been enjoyable to watch. The Championship tends to be an enjoyable league to watch, but it's never usually this tight. So yeah, no, it's great. It's great to see. Like it's still interesting. Like who can actually end up getting in the playoffs. You know, I think certain teams that are in there now will probably get it, but even stuff like the game this week between Sheffield United and Middlesbrough, that's going to be what a game that's going to be. I mean, so yeah, so it's all interesting and it's all
yeah,
it's all
that's
good.
a big game. Yeah, definitely. Um, if I just looked at a table and Reading are in 18th on 38 points. They they are just 8 points away from sixth place Watford. That's the thing. Um. So yeah. Um. That's we'll get into it. You spoke of the team. On they playing. They one of their players scored a worthy of free kick. Birmingham City. They take on a Cardiff City that has been a bit underwhelming recently. They haven't won since Sunderland in the 5th of March. They lost against Middlesbrough 3-1. Madness. But they play Birmingham side that's got a spring in this step, and that they haven't had for a while. Um, and they coming off 2 wins. Um, and they're starting to look like the old Birmingham. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting one. It's away from home for Cardiff. The away record is not the best. Let me just check. 13 out of 15 away wins. So a few draws in there, but yeah. Birmingham, their home form has took a bit of a dip, but 5 out of 16 home wins. And, so it's been so far so good for Birmingham this season. And they where they are right now is where many people expected them to be. They can still go for the playoff spot. Not so yeah. Before I let you talk about this match and we'll talk a bit more, just gonna so if Birmingham won this match, they can go up to 11th, depending on all our results. That's a maximum they can go. Cardiff on 29 points. If they win, they they close that gap of Rotherham to 1 point and they move up to 32 points. As that means they can't be caught by Huddersfield or Blackpool. Mm. Can only be called by Wigan and depending on goal difference. But if both Wigan and Cardiff win, they can't. But a win for Cardiff means they create some space between them and the relegation bonds. Not a big space, but at least some breathing space. But yeah. So what do you make of this game? Of course, big game for both teams.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's one of them where, for me, that well, Cardiff obviously, but Birmingham for me, they're not really in the battle, but they're not far from it. As for Cardiff, obviously, we know they're in the battle for the relegation. It's one of them where obviously Cardiff need the points more, but Birmingham are 2 out of 2 wins. They're doing all right. Cardiff, like you say, away are not particularly the best. Sometimes they can, make it tough for teams and make it a tight game, but they don't really tend to get results. Look at last couple of weeks, their games away from home. They obviously lost to Luton and it didn't really cause much, I'd say, other than the first half, that shot Robinson had, and the shot in the second half where Ethan tipped over. Other than that, they didn't really cause too much, I'd say. And then obviously they lost to Hull 1-0 as well. Birmingham, they've got a bit of confidence at the moment. Very good win in the derby the other day. Obviously not the biggest derby, but still, decently, big derby against a good West Brom side as well. Clean sheet and that. So yeah, I see Birmingham winning this one. To be honest with you, I think it'll be tight, but I think Birmingham will do it.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be a tight one. We saw last time they played, it was a so yeah, it was a 1-0 to Cardiff. Last time they played this season, and I'm gonna say 1-0 to Birmingham this time. I thought maybe a 1-1 draw, but I'm gonna edge it to Birmingham. I think they're the team in form, and yeah, your prediction.
Yeah, exact same. 1-0. 1-0 to
One,
Birmingham, yeah.
1-0 Birmingham, and now move on to two teams who are both fighting for the same thing. And Millwall, they've been so inconsistent, but yet they are still in the playoffs. I don't know how. One week they win, then they draw, then they lose, then they win again, then they draw, then they lose. Like it's mad. They're so inconsistent, but they still in the playoffs, and they got 2 games in hand over the others, and a win for Millwall puts them level on points with Luton, for the beauty town. Depending on goal difference, we'll see, and of course the Luton result, if they can throw Luton and go into the top 4. Um, for Coventry, it's a big game. They need to get out of this, I wouldn't say relegation fight, but they're starting to get dragged in that slowly. So one for them would give them massive confidence, and one for them, depending of course on our results, can put them into the top 10, which is big for them. I think this season for them, top 12 finish, I think for some teams in where they are now, close to them, that's the main aim. But if you look, like I said, more inconsistent as you like, Coventry, they're also inconsistent, but they don't really win games now often. Um, they win year or day, but mostly draws or losses. Um, so yeah, is it time for them to win? Is it time for them to get home one? Their home record is pretty good, seven home wins out of 16. For Millwall, it's away 5 out of 15 games away, 5-1. It's a tight one to call. And if you look this season's game, it was 3-2 Millwall, but I'm gonna say Coventry win. I don't know about you. What do you make of this game?
It's an interesting one. Coventry obviously drew to obviously Luton at the weekend. It was one of them where they just took their chance, which was a penalty. I think they played a white. I only saw highlights, but I think in the second half they weren't too bad. Millwall obviously got that win in the London derby against QPR. Big win that is. Obviously they're in the playoffs. They do seem to usually, fall out of the playoffs in the later stages of the season. But I just think the confidence they'll have going into that one, I just can't see Coventry winning it. The most I can see Coventry getting is a draw, to be honest. I'm going to go 2-1 Millwall. Again, another 2-1 for them.
2-1 Millwall.
Yeah.
I've gone the opposite side. 2-1 Coventry. I think Coventry win it at home. So yeah, and now I move on to Norwich versus Hull City. And Hull City, they've been on the up, and with a win for Hull City, what is Hull? 4-1. That puts them level on points with Blackburn. Who are in West Brom. West Brom. So they can go into the top 9, top 10. We'll say that. But Norwich, a win for them is big. They have been struggling recently. Lost to Burnley, lost to a pathetic Bristol City side. I don't rate Bristol at all. I don't know how they lost to Bristol. Do you know how they lost to Bristol City?
It was one of them going into the game where I said anyone could. I could see either team nicking it. Bristol City, as much as their home, record isn't as good as others, they can be, they can be quite a good side at home. Recent years when Luton have went there, we've struggled. Obviously, we played earlier on in the season, lost 2-0, and you know how good we are away from home this season, third best team in the league. So it's one of them. Norwich as well this season, they haven't been great whatsoever. A lot of their fans that I've actually, seen on social media and that now are saying their chances are just getting slimmer and slimmer of getting playoffs, they reckon. Obviously, they're still in the mix, but just, the performances they're seeing at the moment, even with, Wagner in, it's just still not great. So I'm not really too surprised, to be honest, with that one.
Yeah. But I was like, it's Bristol, but yeah. Now on this game, I've gone with a Norwich loss. I think I'll City will win. I won't say the score yet. What do you think? What's going to happen in this game?
Well, with the way Hull have been, obviously I know they drew 0-0 to Stoke, but even before that, they're on decent form, like you said earlier. Norwich, like I said, they just ain't been great this season. A lot of people would have said they'll win the league. Obviously, I was one of them, because we know what they usually do, and it's just not. It's just been shocking from them, really. Um, Hull away. There's been a lot of games I've looked at when Hull have played away this season, and they've got results that I haven't really expected them to win at times. Like Birmingham, for example, away, didn't expect them to win that. Watford, they got a point, which was a good point. They went to a few grounds and got I would say a vital point. And I can see him doing it again here, to be honest with you. Not vital in the sense of, the relegation battle. I don't think they're, really in that anymore. Just a sense where they're just points that could, give them achieving something that they might not have thought they might achieve, like etc., like a higher finish or something like that. So I'm going to go for him to get a 1-1 draw.
1-1 draw. I've gone with a sneaky 1-0 win. That's my prediction for that. And now, Dennis, Sunderland, QPR, is that a London derby?
No. Sunderland's about
Up
4
north.
hours away. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's about 4 hours away.
Just they're up north. Okay. But yeah, QPR. What has happened to QPR, the beloved QPR? I wouldn't say that. Yeah.
I was going to
say 8 games since they won. When playing Sunderland. Sunderland, if they win, they can go into the top 6, depending on the Millwall and Watford results. But this is a big game. For me, I think it's a bigger game for QPR. Because if they lose this game, they might be caught in a relegation scrap with the likes of Stoke and them, man. It's looking big. Like Birmingham on 38, Reading on 38, Stoke on 34. So it's not looking good for Reading. This is a must-win game. Under the lights, can they do it?
I actually don't think. I don't think they will. I don't know what. I just expected a lot better since Critchley's come in, because before I found out Luton wanted a younger sort of manager, that's someone I would have took personally. But I don't know, they're just not doing great whatsoever. The best results I'm predicting them to get at these moments in times are draws. I just can't see them winning any sort of games at the moment. They're on terrible form. Obviously they're taking on Sunderland, who, like I say, if they win this, they could go in the playoffs. Obviously, and they're doing brilliant, especially for their first season back. The injuries they've had recently, a lot of people thought they would, fall off in that sense, and they're still getting results, still grinding out them wins. I can only see this going one way, and that's a Sunderland win. And it's a pretty emphatic Sunderland win, to be honest with you. 3-1.
3-1. I have to agree with you. I'm just gonna check on the previous results. 3-1. Debating to say 3-1 or 3-0. I'm gonna say 3-0. 3-0. Yeah, 3-0. Hopefully it's a 2-0. Now we move on to a game that's gonna be straightforward. Burnley versus Watford. How far Burnley gonna win, Tyler? How far?
2-0 for me.
4-5-0, 3-0?
2-0.
2-0. Right. Watford don't stand a chance. Like, it's when you see Burnley, no, we're just going for the vibes. We're just playing for the vibes. We're not gonna win. I'm gonna say another 3-0. 3-0 Burnley. And now Now this is a big game. It's a relegation battle. Scrap. It's Reading versus Rotterdam. That's Reading 18th and with Rotterdam on 33 points. Rotterdam can get a win, like I said with Cardiff. It's bit of space, um, bit of space versus but for the between them and the relegation um, zone. So this is a massive game for them. I'm gonna say a 1-1 draw. Both teams are trying to get wins, and Rotterdam have a win, draw, loss, win here or there, but yeah, it's mostly draws or losses. Same for Reading. So I'm gonna stick a 1-1 on this. Your thoughts?
Yeah, no, this one's an interesting one. Like you say, relegation battle. Did expect Reading to drop off at some point, and obviously, last couple of weeks and that's where they've done it. Rotherham, it's one of them where if Rotherham were at home, I'd probably back them to win, but I just think with it being at Reading, I think it's going to be a tight affair. I'm gonna go with a Reading win though. I'm gonna go 1-0 Reading.
1-0 Reading. I can see it. I can see it. It's gonna be a tight one. One of those. Um, and then we got Bristol City versus Wigan. Um, so Wigan, they are in the relegation zone, and what Bristol is Bristol. Right? Oh, oh, they 13th, they up there. Jeez.
Yeah, so I mean,
They've
it goes
gone
back to what I
down.
said earlier.
But yeah, Bristol again. It's tight. It's like they 13th, but rating on 30, or 18th, or 1 point off them. Like I'm looking around trading and I can't find them. It's tight. Really don't trade either team. Have we got a new manager yet or not?
Yeah, they had the new manager since when they played
Wigan.
Blackburn.
Okay, new manager. Haven't really. Oh, since Blackburn. So they kind of have had a manager bounce. I think Bristol just won it 2-1. That's me. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Bristol will win this one as well. I think Wigan will make it tough. New manager, obviously, he's come in and done well. If anyone deserved to win that game when Blackburn did play Wigan, it was probably Wigan, to be fair. Obviously, they beat Huddersfield as well, which obviously Huddersfield not doing great, as we know, but it's always good to get points over teams around you. And I did have that feeling Wigan would win as well. But yeah, I think this one, with the way Bristol City have been recently, it is going to be a tough ask. I'm going to go with another 1-0.
1-0. Okay, fair enough. Okay. Now. Okay. Let's. You okay if we do lineups for the Luton game
Yeah,
or
yeah,
not?
that's fine.
Because I know it's a bit. I didn't tell you. Okay. But yeah, the Luton Preston game, because you away from home, away from is good. So while I set up this thing, uh, just tell us a bit more about what do you think about it?
Yeah,
in
for
this
me,
game versus Preston?
this Preston game, I'm feeling quite confident, to be honest with you. They're. I think I looked at a couple of weeks ago, and they were like 17th on home form, and now they're 23rd. They've been really poor at home this season. I remember, even though they didn't, they finished mid-table last season. I remember they were pretty, they weren't bad at home at times. I remember we went there and lost 2-0, but then again, at the time, that's when Jerome wasn't pulling strings. We were a lot reliant on Elijah. So, I don't know, I'm feeling confident. Our away form's really good as well. Like you say, we're the third best in the league when it comes to away form. So yeah, I think we have every right to be confident. We've got a lot of players coming back as well. Not players that will probably start, but I think we're going to start having. Obviously we had Lansbury back, but I think we're going to have like Sonny Bradley back as well at some point. Which is, I don't think he's one of the people that we need going forward, but I think for now he's a good another option to come on if need be. So yeah, I think we're all right. The only thing I am a little bit concerned about, but not concerned about it against Preston, is I think Dramer may be out because he weren't available in the game the other day. So that right hand side on the wing back is the only bit where I sort of worry in that sense. Not worry against Preston, but just overall how long it's going to be, because obviously we brought him in. We haven't got anyone else that. We got people that could play that position, but it's not their main position. Do you know what I mean? Whereas him, it is. So that's the only thing. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty confident, to be honest.
Yeah. I put in 3 players. Yeah. I put Ethan and Pele and Morrison. That's a 3 I think will start.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay. The rest of the team, I'm going to listen to you. So, right centre back.
Right centre back, I would probably go Burke.
He should come to Chelsea. What? 20 million. That's good for you guys. For Burke. Come to the pitch.
I want to keep Reece Burke, mate. I want to keep him.
Okay. Left centre back.
Left centre back. This is where it's interesting because I think Sonny Bradley and that's coming back, but I wouldn't start him in this game. I wouldn't rush him in that sense. I think Osho was there the other day, if I'm correct. He obviously gave away the penalty. Other than that, he was all right, apparently. Potts is still not back. Obviously, we ain't got Draymar, so we can't really. Yeah, he's more on the right, to be honest. I would say. I'd probably just go Osho again, to be honest. If it was one of them where we had, Draymar, then I'd probably go Bell and then put Doherty as the left wing back. But because we haven't got Draymar by the looks of it, I'll go with Osho.
And centre back.
Lockyer. It's got to be Lockyer all day long, really. Got man of the match the other day. And all again.
Now to Potter, Pele.
This is where it's interesting because Nakambia played a full 90 minutes the other day and he was really impressive, apparently. I'd probably put him on the bench and go back with Campbell for this one.
Campbell.
Then bring him on if we need to, I'd say.
Campbell.
Or just switch it around, sort of thing.
And then Cam,
I would go Clark all day long.
Jordan Clark. It is a fantastic player. Jordan Clark.
Yeah.
Okay, then they don't have a formation with wingbacks or on yeah. And also right wing
It
back.
should be. It should be the last. It should be the third last one is 5-2-1-2. It is.
Oh, fine. 5-2-1-2.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
the one. I
now it's
yeah. There you
just
go.
messed up everything. So let me just take that out. Say Campbell. Let's put clock there. Um, and so far down. Clark, Jordan Clark. Okay, centre mids. Heather. Haddock and Campbell. All. Then we got. Okay. Right wing back.
Uh, uh, hmm, trying to. I suppose it'll probably have to be Fred, I guess,
Right.
or it could be.
Um,
Hmm. Yeah, I'd probably go Fred. Also,
that's
because we
right.
got a quick turnaround as well. Probably go Fred.
Okay. Let me just check. Let me just copy and paste that. The thing is not gonna show up Fred if I just put it in. So we're gonna put just copy paste. There you go. Left wing back.
Bell.
Well, yeah. He's been class so far this season. So.
100%.
Okay, you don't want to have a Maribel. But yeah, other striker.
Elijah.
Okay. Okay.
And then what I'd do personally is put Morris on the left of the attack and then Elijah on the right. The thing about Elijah, what you'll probably witness is he doesn't have a picture, and I don't know why.
Okay. Paste Maribel. And then uh, Bale. Like that. Okay, yeah, it doesn't have a picture. So that's a pretty strong lineup, except for the
Mm.
fullbacks. Maybe more Fred. That's the only one thing. But it does better away from home for you guys. So
Yeah.
score prediction time. Now I've said you guys will have a bit of a dip since it comes to the game. I think you guys should get rid of Rob before it gets worse. Now many Luton fans disagree. Um, and I expect you to be in that same category.
Yeah, 100%, mate.
So yeah, but what do you think? Score prediction for this?
I think it'll be one of them where they'll make it tough and it'll be one where we'll have to grind it out. As much as they're not doing great at home, I know it's still going to be a difficult game. I'll be very surprised if it's not. But I do expect us to get a result, really. And I think it'll be the exact same scoreline as it was when we played them in 2021 at their ground, and that was 1-0.
Oh no, fair enough. I'm gonna say I just think pressing up. That it's too. Luton are too good for them. I'm gonna say 2-1. Like you guys are too good for them. If you don't beat them, then I'm gonna be upset. Then Got another relegation scrap. Stoke City vs Huddersfield Town. I'm just gonna say 1-1. Like, no. Yeah, 1. No. What? 1-0 Stoke. 1-0 Stoke. Can change that. The all score prediction.
Yeah, it is that same. I've heard Huddersfield have got Neil Warnock today has come out, which he will do well for him, I think. But at the same time, I don't think it's going to be instant. I just think half them players are not good enough. Half of them, they're just. He'll bring a mentality in which might change. Coming towards the later stages, but I think it might get to one of them stages where it's too late and they'll go down, and he'll probably do all right in league. Well, I expect him, if they do go down, especially with him now, that they'll probably come back up. But yeah, 1-0 Stoke for me. It's not like I rate Stoke like that. It's just Huddersfield is just so poor right now.
Yeah. Then we got I wouldn't say relegation scrap, but a potential relegation scrap. Swansea, they're not yet in a relegation. They're on the way. They're on the way. Trust me, they're on the way. They will finish 22nd. They will finish 22nd. Trust me. They're 10 points after 22nd, so up the Blackpool. But it's at Swansea. Surely they get a win. Like, it can't be that bad that you're losing or drawing to 24th in the league. Like, it can't be that bad. What do you think? Surely Swansea wins. Sure.
Yeah, no, I think they will. As much as they've been very inconsistent this season, I think that excuse me, if there is a time to win, it is now. Especially against Blackpool, who it's mad to think, they've drawn their last 2 games and they're bottom of the league. With teams around them, or not necessarily Rotherham, but they're still in the battle. But I think they might stay up. And then obviously Huddersfield, I drew to them, which I thought in the end was a decent result, given they had a red card in the first half and they went down twice as well in that game. But yeah, I think if there is a time to do it, it is now. 2-0 Swansea.
2-0 to Swansea. I'm gonna say 2-1. No, I haven't given it 2-0 that much. Now, probably the 2 biggest games of the weekend. Was first start off with second versus third. Sheffield United versus Middlesbrough. Now, if there's a tough game to call, it's this one, because both teams, they don't have a weakness like at this moment. Away from home, Middlesbrough are good. At home, Sheffield United are good. Oh, it's so tough to call. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Yeah.
Yeah,
How can we split these teams?
this game's going to be a very, very interesting one. Obviously it's second versus third. This is giving me vibes of not the points, obviously not as close in that sense, but it's giving me vibes of when Bournemouth played Nottingham Forest last year. I think Bournemouth won 1-0. And it was one end where Forest were piling up pressure, but then that win cemented it. I think it's going to be similar in that sense, even though Sheffield United have more points than obviously that scenario last season. But I do Middlesbrough will make it tough for them. But I think with Sheffield United being at home, I'm going to back them to win 2-1.
I'm going to say, I think that it's either going to be a draw or Sheffield United are going to win. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to say 2-1, I think. I'm going to agree with you 2-1. And then it's a big game. It's 8th versus 9th. It's West Brom versus Blackburn. And I'm gonna say West Brom 1. I'm gonna say an emphatic West Brom 1. 2-0 West Brom. Your, your thoughts on this game and prediction?
Yeah, this one, like you say, this one's a big game as well. Obviously, both teams trying to be in that playoff mix come the end of the season. Blackburn, obviously, the problem with them is there's a lot of teams like it, but they're so inconsistent. Obviously, you saw before the recent games how many games they were either winning or losing. They literally weren't drawing whatsoever, and then last couple of games, obviously, they have. I remember watching them against Wigan, that Monday night game, or whatever it was. They were terrible, to be honest with you. Especially at home. It's been a lot of games I've seen of them at home this year. Obviously, they're away in this one, but just in general, where they haven't been great, like the Preston game, for example, as well. West Brom, obviously, their keeper was terrible against Birmingham, in my opinion. I've said it for time. He's not, that great. Obviously, they've got Palmer out, their main keeper. Don't know how long he's going to be out for. It's going to be another tight one, I reckon. But I do expect West Brom to bounce back, to be honest. I'm going to go over 2-1 West Brom.
2-1 West Brom. Fair enough. Yeah. But that's all the games. Game of the week. I think for me, it's gotta be Sheffield United this Middlesbrough. I think those two are going to put on a classic.
Yeah, definitely. On paper, that's definitely the one, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah. So I'm gonna share my screen just and have a last look at the table. So yeah. I spoke in the intro about how good I did on the weekend. I got 16 points and four games spot on. If it just was for Norwich to get to when I would have gotten 17, but yeah. So I'm very proud of myself. I didn't think I would get that, but yeah. So Burnley, Sheffield United, top 10 is sorted unless Sheffield United have collapsed. But top 10 is sorted. Then it's basically rest cause it's so tight. Middlesbrough in third on 51 points, Luton 49, Millwall 46, Watford 46, Sunderland 45, Blackburn 45, West Brom 44, Norwich 42. Those top 10 from 10th to 3rd are only separated by 9 points. That's free. That's free ones. That's all. it's it's mad. Um, then we will take the bottom off from our city to Rodham, who are in 20th on 33 points. There's what 8 point gap. Oh wait, yeah, 8 point gap. And that's just under 3 games. Like that's 2 games and two. That's 4 games, two um 2 wins and 2 draws. It's a madness. Um, then you got the relegation. And you could basically take up from 24th till about 19th. These lots. That it's so tight. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up here. We've gone a bit over the limit I wanted to go, but it happened. So yeah, but before I go, I'm gonna let Tyler shout out your socials.
Yeah, no, obviously T-Boys TV, as you lot can see there. So yeah, just check that out. There's quite a lot of pre-recorded videos coming out at the moment. So yeah, check them out. The Champions League predictions. Obviously, I've done the Championship as well on my channel. So yeah, check them out, man. And thanks for bringing me on again, Hanno, mate.
Yeah, be up yourself. And yeah, I'll link all your stuff in inside on description. As usual. So yeah, go subscribe to Tyler. Yeah, make sure to subscribe. Yeah, like the stream, comments. What is your score predictions and everything? Be up, everyone. See you in a bit. Peace.